Hey, y'all. Welcome to another episode of Tip Drill. I am your host, Sara Blake. It is Friday, October 28th. Let's go ahead and get this day rolling. My favorite thing to do is start you guys off with a joke because I want to make everybody smile. So, what is the difference between a hooker and a drug dealer? Well, a hooker can wash her crack and sell it again. On to our sex fact of the day. I read this one, y'all, and I thought I had to share it because this is probably really, really sad news for us females. Lesbians have the most orgasms. Sorry, straight ladies, when it comes to crossing the finish line, lesbians are coming in first. A study revealed straight women climax 61.6% of the time, while lesbians climax 74.7% of the time. How disappointing is that? Now, if Matt ever leaves me, I guess this is just another thing to add to the list that I am going to become a lesbian because obviously they have better sex. They're climaxing more than I am. And I can find a girl to cook for me. I can find a girl to clean my house. I can find a girl to watch my kids. I mean, everything. Maybe this, I just cracked the code. Is this why there are more lesbians than straight women? Like, are there? Because if I could come home to a clean house and a freshly cooked meal, I would totally do it. And now you just add orgasming more than straight women. I'm almost sold. I am almost there. They have almost converted me and pulled me onto the other side. I mean, it's a little fun to mess around with a girl, so I could totally do it. Matt, don't leave me though, because I'm totally straight. I don't know if I could totally go without a penis for the rest of my life. But this is definitely an interesting fact. On to Gisele and Tom Brady. All right, Gisele. I never thought that it was a good thing to give a man an ultimatum. If I were to get an ultimatum, I would do the complete opposite. Those don't work for me. Now, it might work in her relationship. This might be one last ditch effort because she loves him so much and she wants to be with him. So she reportedly gave him the ultimatum: football or family. Now, let's just take this into consideration. She probably gave him this ultimatum because he probably told her more than once that he was done with football or when he was going to be done. And she is just at her breaking point and she loves him and she wants this family to work, but he's just not budging. Maybe Tom Brady is just extremely stubborn. But to look at how the Bucks played last night and that loss and how many sacks Tom Brady took, is it worth giving up your family to play for this Bucks team or to go out like this? He's definitely not ending his career like Peyton Manning did. And is this going to be what he is known for now? Like, should he have walked out and retired with all of his glory like he had originally done? Or does he bring the Bucks back? Is there a comeback story? Is there something? Conspiracy theory in me is saying that the NFL is fake. Maybe that this is all a part of the plan and it's just some big show to show that at the end of the season, he didn't pick his family and then he wins a Super Bowl. That's crazy, right? Oh, the things that I come up with are insane, y'all. But I just don't know in this situation what the right thing to do is. Supposedly, he stared into his locker and was completely silent until everyone else in the locker room left after last night's game. I definitely think he is probably doing some soul searching and he doesn't look very good. This is actually really sad to see. I don't want his everything that he's done because he's the GOAT. He's the greatest of all time. I don't want everything that he's done to be shadowed with this dark place that he is in with his personal life. And when is the right time to give it up? Should he hang it up for his family? I don't believe that Gisele should say football or family and create this narrative because then that's what you're creating for your kids. Oh, well, dad chose football over us. No, he wants his family and he wants football. He wants to have his cake and eat it too. So is it a bad thing that Gisele is saying no more? Or is she putting her foot down? it is such a sad, sad thing to watch. And I don't want his legacy to be this. I don't want him to be remembered for the situation, family versus football. I don't think that's fair. And I don't like that Gisele is doing that. Now, Joe Biden is taking digs at Tom Brady. Definitely, I am going to propel this narrative. He is taking a dig at Tom Brady by saying he gave up his spot as a starting football player for the University of Delaware so he could visit his first wife every weekend instead. Wow. Let's talk about this. Joe Biden's star football player. Do you guys see this being something that's real? That he is just this athlete, Rico Suave guy? Or is this the genetic trait that he passed on to Hunter? And to chase tail, what is he telling? Like, oh my goodness, this guy is definitely in a mess. I don't care which way you voted. I am just saying, he to give up your starting spot. Is this true as a football player at Delaware to go chase after your first wife is a little I wouldn't advise my kids to do it, but every kid makes mistakes like this, I guess. I don't know, but I would like to see the fact check on that story if he is this amazing athlete that we just don't know about. But to take that dig at Tom Brady, shame on you. Shame on you. Elon Musk is officially the new owner of Twitter. Congratulations, Elon Musk. Hopefully, you can get me verified now since I have everything that Twitter requires, and they have turned me down every time. I don't understand it, y'all. Yes, I know you have to create certain things. You have to have PR, and there's a way to get verified, and they go through all these different requirements. And I have met and excelled over those requirements. I would just like to have a verified account right now because I have a lot of people that try to pretend to be me and they scam these innocent, wonderful men out of money. And it is so sad because I get all these DMs where these guys are like, you awful home wrecking whore, you were supposed to marry me and you're not marrying me. And I'm like, I have never talked to you. I have no idea who you are. So if you are talking to these people that are not me, I don't answer my DMs on Twitter or on IG. I only talk when I am paid to talk or on here. So I don't know who y'all been talking to, but it would be nice to have that protection as a content creator. Would be very nice and helpful to my fan base, right? Do you guys remember the MTV show Cribs? Well, it is back. That used to be one of my favorite shows on MTV. Teen Mom, MTV Cribs. I remember watching Mariah Carey get into the bubble bath, and I remember seeing like all of the cars everybody has. I thought it was so cool to see the individual homes. So I am really excited about this. MTV, their show is back and it came out last night apparently, so make sure you try to look for that. I'm sure they'll be running it over and over again. I think that they did the Pussycat Dolls singer, they did Her House, and I don't know who else, so that would be really cool to look into. All right, y'all. So yesterday I did the most popular Halloween costumes in the SEC region. Today we are going to do the most popular Halloween candy because it is Halloween weekend. And don't be cheap, you guys. Don't give out Tootsie Rolls. All right. All right. So let's get started. In Alabama, the most popular candy is Skittles. In Arkansas, it is Sour Patch Kids. I like Sour Patches. Florida, it is Reese Cups. Georgia, Swedish Fish. Y'all, what again is going on in Georgia? Y'all are dressing up as Heidi Klum, and Swedish Fish is your favorite candy? I I don't like those. I can't see that being really popular. And I can't see the Heidi Klum costume. You guys are wild. Kentucky, also Reese's Cups. Louisiana is Lemon Heads. Mississippi, Three Musketeers. So you like Three Musketeers and Lane Kiffin. Y'all are boring. Not really turning up on that one. I think Three Musketeers are not very good. The only people I have ever seen eat those are old people. So, yeah. Missouri is Milky Way. I don't like Milky Ways. I know a lot of people do. Not my choice. South Carolina, Butterfinger. That is actually one of my favorite candies, but we'll get to that. Butterfinger in South Carolina. Tennessee is Tootsie Pops. So you can give out Tootsie Pops, but you can't give out Tootsie Rolls. That's being cheap. Tootsie Pops, those are one of my favorites. If I'm ever on a road trip, I like to get Tootsie Pops. Love them a lot. Oklahoma, a team coming into the SEC, is Skittles. And Texas, another team said to be joining the SEC, is Starburst. I absolutely love Starburst. I love the pink, red, yellow, orange. I think those are the favorites of everybody. Nobody really likes the yellow one, but I always eat the yellow one because it's my favorite color. So my top 5 candies. Number 1 being Snickers. That's my absolute favorite. Number 2 is Reese's Pumpkins or any Reese's that are seasonal. I like the whipped peanut butter that they have in there better than like the Reese cups. So I like the pumpkins. I know they do an Easter one, and then they also do Christmas. Those are like my favorite. Twizzlers, I love Twizzlers. I think there's 0 calories too, so they're like my cheat candy. That's what I'll eat if I'm dieting, which I am starting today. I have to go back to the gym, get my body back in order. I have took some time off, and now it is time to go back. I am starting to see a little bit more chubby things on me, and I'm not liking it, so I have to go back. Number 4 is Rolos. I love Rolos, and I actually like them when you freeze them. They're so good. Number 5 is Russell Stover's box of chocolate turtles. That's like my guilty pleasure. I love the Russell Stover's box of chocolate turtles. They're so good. In Vol news, a former VFL tennis player scrolled through Casey Funderburg's Twitter, back dating to her high school years. These tweets date back to when she was 16 years old. She has made her social media accounts now private and removed all Vol affiliation. This all came to light after she called out the troll account Richard G. West. Now, if you're not on Twitter and you don't know who Richard G. West is or that account, then I don't think you are really a Vol fan. We have all been scammed by this account. I know my husband's guilty of it. I know so many people who send me stuff in my DMs and are like, oh my God, did you see this? And I'm like, dude, y'all, that is a troll account. I have fallen victim to it as well. Is crap. These people who do these troll Twitter accounts, first of all, how much time in the day do you have? Because I would like to know your secret, because I don't have that much time in the day to even post on my accounts. And it's me doing that all. I got OnlyFans, Fansly, I got IG, I got like 2 IG accounts, one for myself, and then Twitter and TikTok. I mean, it's just there's so much. So somebody who takes I don't know if it's funny or if they're like they think it's funny, but I don't know. I just think that's kind of creepy and weird that you want to like prank people out and see how many people fall for you and I don't know. It's just weird to me. So this all came to light. She retweeted about the blacked out uniforms, I believe, and had also said something similar to me, like, don't fall for this account and, what a loser, or basically something like that. And so former VFL tennis player decides to scroll through her Twitter. I don't know how this is another thing. How much time do you have on your hands to scroll back on somebody's Twitter to when they were 16 years old in high school? I have so many tweets on my Twitter. Thank God it is a new account. I didn't have Twitter in high school. It wasn't something popular. And like we had Zynga, but to go all the way back, like what malicious vendetta do you have against this Casey girl? Girls are insane. So she finds this tweet, takes it completely out of context, and gets her fired, sends it into her boss and gets her fired. Why? Like, do you sleep better at night now that you've done this? I actually feel extremely sorry for this former VFL. It is so wrong to have done this, especially when this is in her past. Is this who she is currently? I mean, I'm sure we could dig into this VFL tennis player's closet and find things that she said or she's done that she wouldn't be proud of. There's a ton of things when I was 16 that I did that I wasn't proud of, especially looking back at my dating record. There's guys that I would have never given the time of day. Why was I even hung up on some of those decisions or things that I said? I'm a totally different human being than I am now. So to do this to somebody in this cancel culture world is just wrong. And I don't know who takes pride in doing stuff like this. Now, what she said, yes, is wrong. Okay. It is very controversial. And she had a Morgan Wallen moment. If you know what I'm saying, it was a Morgan Wallen moment. Now, she didn't use it in the same context that Morgan Wallen did, but she did use a word that is a huge no-no. Don't ever, any advice to anybody that's young, anybody that I can ever tell you this, you don't ever say it. Don't say it. Don't write it. Don't mouth it. Nothing. Don't sing it. Nothing. If it's in one of your favorite rap songs, do not repeat those words because obviously you will lose your whole entire career if you are not branded the right color. All right. There is a lot of things going on in our society that is not okay. And I think the best way to set the tone is not cancel culture. The best way to set the tone is to come together and make things right for one another. Now, with that being said, I don't walk around calling other Filipino people derogatory names. I'm Filipino. I'm never going to use something derogatory towards them. It is okay to joke back and forth, just like Joe Coy does, because it is true. Now, I don't see anybody else disrespecting one another. I do, I do call people white trash because it's true, but I don't use it in a slanderous way. um, we just don't need to repeat that word. Anybody, nobody. If it's not okay for anybody to say it, then it doesn't need to be okay across the board. One, but we as people should know that that's not something that we should ever, ever, ever repeat, especially when you're younger. So, yes and no. I don't believe that she should have been fired for this. I do believe that this was something done maliciously. And we learn from mistakes. So I guess when I was younger, my mom used to always say, make sure when you put things out there, you're comfortable with it being brought up years later because that might be something that happens and it might. And it's sad. I don't think that that is the way we need to go about things, especially since we evolve as human beings. We cannot hold this girl accountable for something she said when she was a young teenager, and she did not say it in a slanderous, derogatory way. It was a discussion, and she was repeating how many times she was called that word. So we have to take something into context when it comes to this, and there has to be some sort of control and some sort of things that are taken into account. I don't believe that it is okay for people to maliciously hunt one another and want to ruin their life and want to ruin their careers because of something they said when they were a teenager. It's just, I don't agree with this. I feel so bad for this girl. Cancel culture. I mean, when is enough enough? When are we going to end giving power to these Karens, to these people who want to hurt other people and ruin their lives? These are people that are, have worked their whole way to be where they're at, and they're ruining their careers. So they're essentially having to start over, do damage control, hire PR. And if I don't know if she had a family or if she didn't have a family, this sets her back from starting a family if she chose a career path. And it's sad. There's so many, like, it's the domino effect. Cancel culture has to stop, and we have to put a stop to this. It is ruining people's lives. It is ruining our society. I hope that one day somebody gets a grip on this and doesn't allow these people to have control over other people's lives. One, if you don't like it, then don't look at her account and don't like her. Don't follow her. Don't support her. Don't be a fan of her. Nothing. Just remove her from your thought. If you do like her and you do support her, then have a conversation with her and say, hey, I saw this on your Twitter. You might need to delete this. One. Two, Can you apologize for that? Because that was not okay to use. And here are the reasons why it's not okay to say that and why it hurts me and why it affects me. Have a conversation. I think we forgot how to communicate as a society. So do something like that. Be proactive and be productive to the problem instead of just fueling the issue and making it worse for everybody else around you. So that's not cool. Now, in other Vol news, I am so excited. Cedric Tillman is back, baby. He is back. I am pumped for this. I did this morning. We had some technical difficulties. I was supposed to have Zach on here. We were supposed to be live, but y'all, I had camera issues. I am human. I need to figure out something different. I use a GoPro. Definitely need to get a camera, but it was not connecting. Oh, it was awful. So I was supposed to have Coach Zach Smith on here today, and he was going to give us more of a breakdown with Kentucky and Tennessee. I did want to ask him about Cedric Tillman being back, how that's going to make a difference in the game. Now, it's going to make a difference. Of course, we have Jalen Hyatt, but this actually makes us more dynamic because they're going to be covering Jalen Hyatt. That's who we have film on. And we've got two options now. So this is incredible. This is good for us. This is a big deal. Jalen McCullough has been cleared to play as well. New evidence has been submitted and it has gone public, you guys. Jalen McCullough misses 2 games in regard to an incident that happened at his apartment. That is not fair again. Like, I know it's innocent until proven guilty, but is it? Is that really how things work? Jalen McCullough was defending his home, and we went by the story that the alleged victim had told, which was not true. And now people are just doing whatever and saying whatever, and it's ruining people's lives again. So Jalen McCullough doesn't get to play for 2 games. He misses that. And now he has been cleared to play. New evidence has been submitted. It shows that pretty much this whole thing is going to be washed. This guy broke into his apartment. He did not. Yes, he was fearing for his life, and this is somebody's breaking into your home, and he told him to leave. Well, what did this guy do? Try to break in again. So at that point, he used his hands, and he fought him like a man. He punched him, and of course, then at that point, I don't know if he fell down the stairs or if that was fake news or whatever, but he defended his home. Nothing is wrong in there. It's self-defense. Good for Jalen. And that guy, they released his name. He's probably the most hated person in Tennessee now, other than this VFL, maybe, possibly. So he was holding a vodka bottle while giving his police report, and police took this as credible. This is crazy. This whole thing is just ridiculous. This world, this is why I stay home sometimes. You never know what's going to happen, and people are losing it. So Jalen McCullough feared for his life. Isn't this interesting? He was in fear for his life and asked the guy to leave nicely before getting physical. Unlike Jermaine Burton. I'm going to take it there, y'all. Jermaine Burton they're still going by this story that he was in fear of his life. So he had to hit that female. He was so scared he had to hit her. She was intimidating to him. Oh my God, poor Jermaine, right? No. New video footage, if you haven't seen it already, shows that he didn't just hit her. He hit multiple Tennessee fans on the way out that were nowhere in his way. He was being a sore loser. And at this point, Nick Saban needs to do something about this or get fired. Yep, I said it. Fire the Jesus of college football, Nick Saban. He needs to be held accountable that he is not holding Jermaine accountable for hitting a female unprovoked and also assaulting several other Tennessee Vol fans who were excited that they beat Alabama. They did not give 2 shits about you, Jermaine. They don't give a fuck. Okay? They cared about getting the goalposts down and smoking cigars because right when we won, all I cared about was lighting up the cigar because I was so excited. And this was like my first cigar. And Jabari Davis had already come on here. If you haven't seen that, go and see his exclusive interview and taught me how to smoke a cigar. So that's what we cared about. We didn't give 2 fucks about you, Jermaine. So this whole narrative that you're propelling, that you were scared and in fear of your life, and that Nick Saban is endorsing is only going to make it worse for other people. Because now, just like Pat McAfee said, we're going after Kirk Herbstreit. I did too. And I don't like Kirk Herbstreit. yes, I don't agree with Pat McAfee on this, where he says that, oh, it put him in a bad position to have to talk about this. No, it didn't put him in a bad position. It put him in a good position. He needs to talk about this. We all need to be talking about this. And Nick Saban needs to do something about this. And if he's not going to, I mean, suspend, kick him off, then the rest of the world needs to stand up for these people and this woman. I would love to hear from this woman who was hit, what her take is on it, and why there haven't been charges pressed or anything. I mean, she was probably so dumbfounded when this happened to her that she didn't know what to do. Regardless of her story or not, he needs to be disciplined. He needs to be suspended, or it needs to be Nick Saban who is held accountable in this at this point. And it doesn't need to go away. We don't need to stop talking about this until something is done. Nick Saban needs to hold his players accountable. I don't care if he wants to win, because at this point, you're already having a shitty season. You lost to Tennessee. You almost lost to Texas A&M. You almost lost to Texas. So do something in your rebuild to fix the issue. Hold these players accountable, because what are you saying to women? That we don't matter? That it doesn't matter if somebody unprovoked hits us because he was scared? If you're scared of a woman, is it okay to still hit her? Is that what the narrative is? Regardless, totally wrong. Nick Saban needs to be held accountable for this situation. Tyler Bray. Ladies and gentlemen, we all, if you're a Vol, all remember Tyler Bray. He played in the Dooley era and in the Butch Jones era. He was our quarterback, and he declared for the draft, went undrafted, then played for the Kansas City Chiefs, or whatever. He was signed to the Kansas City Chiefs, and then he went to Chicago, and then I think San Francisco in 2021. I don't for sure know that, but I think. Anyways, he was on Twitter, Vol Nation Twitter. I think we run Twitter. Vol Nation runs Twitter. Let's just say that Elon Musk owns it and Vol Nation runs it. That's how this works. So he was on there asking for tickets to the game this weekend. How does that work? Is there really this whole thing where, like, former players, these VFLs, can't get tickets to the game, or they can't go into the players lounge? Like, do you have to be a certain previous player to be invited there, or is it hard to obtain tickets? So he was seen asking for tickets to the Tennessee Kentucky game. I don't know. That's kind of weird. I just would think that you would be able to go to the game. I don't know if that tweet was necessary, or if he's just trying to create a buzz that he'll be there, which is pretty cool. Awesome for him to come back. I love the stuff that he is saying on Twitter. He was a good quarterback. I don't think that he was coached the right way, or the way he should have been. He didn't really play with the greatest coaches. So Jabari Small was recently on SEC Now speaking about Hendon Hooker. And quote Jabari Small, "He shows up in every big moment. Everything he is getting, he deserves." How incredible is that? That is how he spoke of Hendon Hooker, his teammate. He does. And it's true. Hendon does show up. And that is why I'm not worried about this weekend. I am super confident. My husband, who has battered ball syndrome, is a nervous wreck. He's like, we're going to lose to Kentucky. I had this horrible dream last night. Oh my God. It is so dramatic. And I was like that. I can't talk too much shit. I was like that the week of Alabama. We were supposed to go to that game, and we were making all the arrangements to go. We were going to film a huge episode out there. And on a Wednesday, I said, no, we're not going. They're going to lose. I can't do it. I just can't do it. I'm not confident enough. I can't do it. And I was a nervous, dramatic wreck. So he's having that moment this week. I'm not there. I'm confident in this. And Cedric's back. We're more dynamic. And Kentucky. Let's talk about Kentucky. Kentucky has only beaten Tennessee 3 times since 1984. I don't believe that Kentucky is this program that is going to have the shining moment that we had this year against Alabama. I don't believe that Kentucky will beat Tennessee. They lost to South Carolina. And who is South Carolina this year? Who are they? I can't say this enough. I am very confident. I just don't believe that that's going to happen. Why do Kentucky fans even talk shit towards Tennessee? The fact that Kentucky fans are claiming to be Tennessee's Super Bowl. This is laughable. I am not a fan of shit talk, because you always end up putting your foot in your mouth. I am confident that we're going to win. We should win this game, and it is a game that should be very easy for us. We have Cedric coming back, and we have a Heisman candidate quarterback. We have Jalen Hyatt, who should be considered for the Heisman. We have a coach that makes adjustments, and Heupel. Everybody trolled Heupel, and they're like, once we find out if people catch on to his gimmicky offense and the things he does, then he's not going to win. Well, that hasn't happened yet. Now has it? So Josh Heupel has not been outcoached. He outcoached Nick Saban. Watch that game over again, and you will agree with me. I promise. So have some faith in your team. Don't let the battered ball syndrome kick in this weekend. It will be fine. Kentucky, they haven't. Mark Stoops is 2-8 against Tennessee. He is also 0-6 against top 5 ranked teams, and it is not his year. I don't believe it. Teams with 4 ranked wins: TCU and Tennessee. Go TCU. You're doing the damn thing. That is incredible. I know that they have boys out there who run like 21 miles per hour, so that's really cool. Tennessee, it's great to be a damn ball. That's for sure. So my SEC football picks, I will release a video on my social media. I did not do it last week. I released them here last week, but I will give them to you guys who are listening on Apple, Spotify, on YouTube. Make sure you comment. Make sure you subscribe. If you would like to listen to ad-free listening, make sure you head to our Patreon, patreon.com/tipdrill. You can listen to ad-free listening. As the show grows, you are going to want to do that because it is growing. We are sponsored by Pinnacle Hemp. Thanks to them. They are amazing. They get me through those evenings when I just need to relax. So thank you to Pinnacle Hemp, our sponsor. And make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Help me grow this show, y'all. It is all going to matter on you. So if you would like ad-free listening, because we are on Apple and Spotify, head to our Patreon and you will get that there. So my SEC football picks: Arkansas beats Auburn. Arkansas has KJ Jefferson back. Auburn is a shit show. They need to fire Brian Herson. I don't think that they will get it together. I think that something's going on there. These kids are probably extremely distracted. They don't want to play for this coach anymore. He is being insane. I know that boosters don't like him, and he hasn't gotten a fair shot. They haven't liked him for a long time. So Arkansas beats Auburn. Georgia beats Florida in the cocktail party. That's what it is. We are calling it a cocktail party because we are not going to let Karen cancel this. All right. I know that they've changed the name, but it is the cocktail party, and let them have fun. Just let it be what it is. Now, do they move it out of Jacksonville? Who knows? I don't think that they should. I think that is tradition that is there. Don't touch it. Just let it be what it is to Georgia and Florida. If this is a rivalry to them, which to me, being a Tennessee Vol, this is not a big deal. It's not a big deal. Anyways, but Georgia beats Florida. I believe that Florida can't compete. Anthony Richardson is terrible. Leads the SEC in interceptions. Stetson Bennett. He's more accurate. He's thrown one interception this year, very similar to Hendon Hooker. He's one of my favorites too. So Georgia beats Florida. Ole Miss beats Texas A&M. Texas A&M is also a shit show. I don't believe that. Now, this is kind of a tricky game. Ole Miss hasn't been the best either. But I do think Ole Miss will pull out that win. South Carolina beats Missouri. Both programs aren't my favorite. Should be an interesting game to see the outcome of. I will take South Carolina to beat Mizzou. Now, Tennessee beats Kentucky. Easy pick for me. Now, if that happens, we will see. I know that a lot of us are nervous. Some of us are more confident than the others. I do believe that Tennessee will pull out this win. So thank you all for joining me this morning, this evening, wherever, whatever time you are watching or listening. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Help me grow this baby. And if you want ad-free listening, head to our Patreon at Tip Drill. You will want to join that for ad-free listening once this show starts growing. Thank you to our sponsor, Pinnacle Hemp. And I hope y'all have an incredible Halloween weekend. Make sure you tune in to all of these fun games. It's going to be a good football weekend. Unlike last, that was pretty freaking boring. Everybody's off their bye week. So let's see what happens this weekend. Should be interesting. Go Vols.